I would like to call the Flint Board of Education Board meeting to order. The time is 6:01. Board members, as I call your name, please reply present for the record. Vice President Perry, Secretary Green, Treasurer McIntyre, Assistant Secretary Treasurer McNeil, Board Trustee Walker,
Present.
Board Trustee Wright, myself, Carol McIntosh, is present. Ms. Wright is absent. At this time, the board will hear any comments from the public. If you have a script, please turn it into the board's executive assistant, Monica Elston. We ask that you state the reason for addressing the board and that you limit your remarks to 3 minutes. As matters within the jurisdiction of the board and not address individuals by name, the presiding officers of the board shall have the right to limit the number of persons who may address the board on the same subject. Members of the public are reminded that the board, by its bylaws 1370, is not under obligation to answer questions, make comments, or statements and respond to issues raised by the public. In general, such issues will be referred to the superintendent for investigation, study, or recommendation. Audience members are reminded to state their name and address, and if appropriate, the group they represent, employees of the board, representatives of employee organizations and/or unions, and students should exhaust administrative procedures before addressing the board or matters for which administrative review is provided. You are solely responsible for the content of your public statement. Is there anyone here from the public who wishes to address the board? Board members, before proceeding with our meeting, I would now like to entertain a motion and a second to approve Resolution 21.5, appointment of school board legal counsel and approval of representation agreement with the noted corrections.
So move.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Yes.
Are we going are we going to, and maybe I missed it, some information about this group?
It is a group that we've already worked with, Ms. Lee.
I
Ms.
can't,
Lee,
yes,
yes,
yes, what?
from MASB. No, you didn't
Right.
miss anything. We're just bringing it today because,
But you want to get it approved today, right?
yeah,
But where's some information?
the information is that we are in a situation, our auditor has mysteriously disappeared. We also already have some business going with Ms. Lee. And that's basically information. I don't know if you've been informed, but we're in a situation, we have administrators on leave. We don't have an HR person. Ms. Lee was representing us for MASB for HR, helping us. So she's no longer with MASB, so we don't have any help with HR, nor do we have an HR person.
Do we have, well, I guess I'm also asking, could I see a resume right now?
She's presented her resume, but we can get her resume
She presented it when?
the previous time when we hired her on. She gave us her credentials.
Was I in town?
I don't know if you were in town or not,
Well, I
but,
never received anything, that's what I'm saying.
okay.
So for
Ms.
some
Lee, can
reason,
you,
I didn't.
Ms. Lee, can you get her your resume? Thank you.
Could I get it before we vote?
Can you shoot it to her now? Could you step to the mic, Ms. Lee?
You able to hear me okay? Okay, good. What would you like to know? Would you like to give me an employment history background, or would you like to know what my specialties are?
I'd like to know everything about you.
Sure. My name is Sharice Lee. I'm sorry. Are you guys able to hear me? It's kind of like echoing to me, so I'll step back. My name is Sharice Lee. I'm a licensed attorney in Michigan. I'm also licensed in Texas. I'm also admitted to the U.S. Federal District Court for the Eastern District, which will cover the Flint area and the eastern side of the state. I primarily practice labor and employment. I have been a HR representative prior to law school since I was 17. I started in the military. I did human resources in the military for a military police unit for 8 years. In conjunction, while doing that, I got my degree from Michigan State University in international relations. From then on, I continued to work in HR. And after that, I went to law school and I graduated with honors from law school. And after that, I worked for a Fortune 50 company, negotiating their contracts and being a lawyer for them with labor and HR, human resources, negotiations. I was the chief negotiator for one of their contracts. I worked on several contracts, negotiating those for Lockheed Martin, which is in Atlanta, Georgia, or Marietta, Georgia, and it's a Fortune 50 company. From there, I went on to be an assistant director at Michigan State University at the law school. And from there, I went to MASB and I was an attorney there and I supported Flint schools there. And now I have started my own practice and I am currently working there full time.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Another question. So I heard you heard something about HR, so could you explain that to me, please?
We don't have an HR person right now.
Well, I thought we have a interim, so she's going to be HR and board attorney?
No, she's going to assist us with getting our HR department together and finding somebody and making sure that we're following human resource guidelines and stop us from getting sued till we can get somebody who's qualified in that capacity.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Seeing no further questions, those in favor for approving the motion say aye. Those opposed say nay. Aye. Those
Nay.
opposed? The ayes have it. At this time, I seek a motion and a second to go into closed session. Section 8A of the Open Meetings Act, Superintendent's Performance. It has been properly moved and second that we meet in closed session. Board members, when I call your name, please say yes or no to go into closed session. Vice President Perry,
Yes.
Secretary Green, Treasurer McIntyre, Board Trustee Wright, Trustee Walker,
Yes.
Assistant Secretary McNeil, myself, Carol McIntosh, yes. Board members, we are now in closed session. Please join me in the back room. Public members, we will reconvene here after we come out of closed session. Okay. It is now 8:07. Board members, board members, I would now like to entertain a motion and second to approve the appointment of interim district superintendent and interim superintendents, Mr. Kevin Jones and Ms. Kiana Murphy. Mr. Jones will be the acting interim superintendent. Ms. Murphy will be the assistant acting superintendent, also covering the CFO position because we have people out on leave. So I will be asking for a motion and a second to bring them on interim.
Second.
Are there any questions?
Never seen this done before. The deputy superintendent always just steps in. You never had to be specific like this. So I'm going to say no because he's doing the job anyway. So I won't be supporting.
Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing no further questions, those in favor approve the motion by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, 5-2. The motion passes. Uh, Mr. Jones, would you like to address the board?
It's about.
Oh, Ms. Green has it? But this is where we are.
So we do have, due to the situation at Doyle Ryder, and our teachers having to relocate, we are going into intercession. And it's just befitting to make sure that our teachers that are coming in on their time off, if we could pay our teachers and, well, let me say the staff that will be working during this time to set up classrooms. We have 2 teachers over at Potter that's going to have to relocate into another wing. They cannot do this during their work hours when they're supposed to be teaching scholars. And so I think it's just right for us to try to figure out a way. So I am seeking support from the board for a motion being passed that we support our teachers as they make these transitions.
I like to make the motion, and that our staff, which includes teachers, to be compensated according to the extra duties that they are incurring due to this crisis we're in. And I seek a second and support, please. Oh, I don't know if I need to make a second motion, but I think Mo's workload has increased also. I'm not sure if I need a second motion. Does it include her in this when I say staff? Because I want her to be included in this, or make it a separate motion for it. Yeah, you think so, Ms. Perry? Okay.
Okay,
Oh.
a motion for Mo.
Okay.
My assistant, Pam here,
Mm-hmm.
every duty that I'm picking up,
Mm-hmm.
she's picking up the work.
Okay, okay.
as well.
Yeah.
So I just don't want to leave her out.
Absolutely not.
Everything I've been doing, she's been assisting as well.
Okay, okay. So do we want to be specific, or do we want to just keep it staff so we make sure we don't leave anybody out? How should we do that?
It seems like we could say, employees picking up extra duties due to the distress situation of the district should be compensated. And Mr. Kaplan and Ms. Kiana should be able, right. And then we have to do Ms. Kiana probably separate.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ms. Perry.
Looking at the other secretary, the other administrative assistant, you can't leave Dara Benton out of it.
So we better say staff.
However, remember, we don't have a count.
Right.
We have lost probably close to 1,000 kids, if not 1,000.
Yeah.
You are down to 1,900 kids or something like that. You better be very careful promising out money, and then you can't even pay your bills.
Mhm.
So you better be very careful. That's all I got to say.
I will be able to give you a head count by email. It's been changing every day. The
Right.
last time we checked, we were down 1,000 scholars. Some of those scholars will be virtual. We're probably up to about 160 scholars virtual. So I will be able to give you all the count, and Mo could email that to you so you'll know.
And my motion still remains, as I say, we gotta find money somehow to compensate these people going above and beyond for our students. So my motion still remains that those who are doing extra duties, according to what you think, Mr. Jones and Ms. Murphy, be compensated accordingly, whoever they are. And I'm trusting you to handle that. I trust you. So we're gonna have to find the money. We ain't got it where we need it. We're gonna have to figure it out. We figure everything else out.
Carol, you have.
Ms. Wright.
I agree with Mrs. Perry that, we just can't, just start issuing out money and that we should focus on the issue at hand, which is the teachers who are being misplaced or have to adjust for those who are misplaced. And so I would like for each motion to be made separately so that I can vote on the only one that I intend to support, which is that we pay teachers who need to move, and that any other staff be paid additional funds at a later date when we know we'll have funds to pay them.
Is that a motion amendment?
So I don't know if you can do a double motion because she made one, but my only request is that we vote on each one
Okay.
separately, because I'm only going to support the teachers who need to be paid to move classrooms or to reorganize in a different place. That's the only motion I'm going to support. To just every meeting decide to give people raises, that's just inappropriate and not fiscally responsible. We need to look at budgets and all kinds of things before we just say, oh yeah, that's a good idea, let's pay them. And then when you bring up that name, then don't forget them, let's pay them. We don't have money to do that.
We don't, but
So
you
I
can.
think that we need to do what's absolutely necessary. And right now, this mold situation has created a necessary situation. All these other issues can wait and be dealt with when we have a better idea of our budgets. And as we know that we have financial people out who can give us an indication of where these additional funds are going to come from. But the situation with the teachers, that's an emergency. We need to deal with that. These other things are not emergencies.
What was your motion, Ms. Green?
People who are going above and beyond their calling for their responsibilities be compensated accordingly. Any staff, that's my motion.
So
And I'm, because I know, and I understand the budgeting part of it, I get all that. But at the end of the day, we find money to do all kind of stuff. The 21,000 for the party, whatever that mess was,
and we still ain't.
we still don't know. So I think we need to include Ms. Beard and Mo at bare minimum. That's my motion.
And Mr. Kavler, because how much is it gonna be, an extra $100, $200, $300? I mean, you want somebody to work for
Yeah.
free? We got great.
I wouldn't, that's not fair. I don't think that's fair
Because
at
we
all.
got people getting raises.
We got to figure it out, because if we have to pay those who
Okay, so
deserve
the
to be paid.
motion was made, it was seconded, and we're in discussion. Go ahead, Ms. Wright.
One separately, that's all. So that I can do my yes or no for each group that you may
Ms.
be
Ms.
voting
Green,
to
are
give
you willing to
additional
change your
funds.
motion?
I don't mind separating it. I don't mind separating.
Okay,
I don't have to change it.
No,
okay.
she just asked, it's just like when they bring the
I know I don't
HR
have
personnel
to.
recommendations, somebody
Right.
asked for it to be separated.
Right.
So
get that.
just
Yeah.
separate.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, because you
Okay.
mentioned secretaries,
I ain't saying about no secretary.
No, no, no,
I
she
mean,
was talking
administrative assistants. You mentioned 3 or 4 different groups of people. So, and I'm only interested in supporting the teacher group.
Okay, sorry, those separate right, you're going with teachers and people that's helping move with the move from Dora Wright?
Ms. Perry said I don't have to change it.
No, she
Okay.
doesn't have to.
She's saying,
You
Okay,
can
so
say
it's
as
been, okay, I got
president.
you.
yeah,
I got you. So,
just
but
acknowledge, yeah.
that they will be voted on separately. But she made the motion with them all together. So we're gonna vote on the teachers that are, or whomever is assisting in the move from Dora Ryder to Potter. Is that,
So teachers have a contract,
Right.
right? And so we have to follow their contract
Mhm.
for relocation. The only reason I bring up Ms. Beard is because you brought up Ms.
Yeah, you should bring her up.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, and I just didn't want to leave out the fact.
And she shouldn't be left out.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
bring up who?
So that's what I bring up.
Oh.
And again, I want to go on record if we say that our support staff are not employees of our district. And so when we talk about staff,
Okay.
that is going to come up because they're helping with the move. But they can work. We can allow them to come in and work because it's intercession week. So they can work their regular hours.
Okay.
if they would like to come in and support that.
Okay, all I'm at, I mean, whether it needs to be separated or not, I don't really care either way. Because mine's gonna be yes for both of them. So however we're gonna do it, let's just do it.
I think I should have brought up some in closed session. Yes. So are we taking a vote? Is there any more discussion? Those in favor for the employees assisting with the move from Doyle Ryder to Potter be compensated? Those in favor say aye.
Are you meaning teachers?
No, I mean whoever is assisting in the move from
What
Doyle
else?
Ryder to Potter. He has some support staff that is helping outside of the
Yeah,
teachers.
it's not just teachers.
Those in favor of the motion to pay the teachers and support staff, those who are assisting in the move from Doyle Ryder to Potter, receiving compensated benefits, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes pass 7-0. Next, we are voting on Ms. Murphy being compensated for sitting in as assistant superintendent and also doing double duty over into the CFO, Ms. Dompre's position to be compensated. We need the motion was made by you. So all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The next item up is for, I'm sorry, the motion passed 7-0. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Ms. Green. Next, we are voting on Mo, Ms. Beard, and who else did you say?
Miss Benton, gotta put Dara's name.
And
in.
Ms. Benton.
She's the same position.
And Angie
She's
Stevens.
in HR. She's HR.
Is she working with you guys?
Say it again.
Is she taking double duty or working with you guys?
She is supporting.
She's what?
She is supporting.
She picked up extra duties. Okay, so those 4 people that I named, do we remember who those 4 people are? They ain't getting no yearly raise, Lord. They're getting like
Are we saying a stipend?
we're saying we are for a specific situation. It's not an ongoing payment on your check.
Yeah, point of clarity. So
Yes.
So that wasn't included in the support staff with the first one that we made, the forward. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And the reason some of the secretaries are picking up extra duty is because Mr. Kevlin is out of the building dealing with our other building issues. Ms. Murphy is going to cover the administration building in our CFO piece, and that causes their assistants to pick up extra duties because they're not available in their usual capacities. Okay, so those 4 people that were named, those in favor of them being compensated at this time of distress in the district signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Ms. Wright, is our name? Okay, so the ayes have it. 6-1, the motion passes. Is Mr. Jones is not getting compensated. Mr. Jones is already administrator, and Mr. Jones got the bonus, the big bonus, the baby bonus, the pizza party bonus. So once we get our books together and all that, if we have something extra, then we'll reconsider Mr. Jones, because Mr. Jones is doing a fabulous job, always right on time for us.
Okay.
Yes, Ms. Wright.
I'm understanding how that works if we pay Ms. Murphy additional for taking on an additional responsibility, but he's going from assistant superintendent maintaining his responsibility plus superintendent role plus facilities, and he's
Well-
not getting additional.
Well, this is because Ms. Murphy is not an administrator either. Ms. Murphy doesn't,
Well, no, it's not about being an administrator. It's about taking on additional roles.
well, I understand that. No, I just said, once we find out about our monies and we get straight out, that's what y'all said, because I thought the responsibility of administration is to work in whatever capacity. you're needed in when the ship is sinking. If you gotta drive the boat and do CPR, then you gotta work double duty, administrator.
Well, I just didn't get it. I didn't
Okay.
get it because he's taking on 2 additional roles with no additional funds. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm all for him getting paid once we find out how much money we have. And because he is administrator, I think he should be last.
Yes,
Is
ma'am,
anybody else?
I agree with that. I agree.
So that's what I base that on.
But since we passed it all out,
I mean, well, when we figure out what we got, if we got something else to make it rain with, then we will drizzle him appropriately. Okay, so, the motion was on the floor to, get Ms. Murphy compensated, or we did that already? Where we at now? Okay, so at this time, we'd like to bring our special board meeting to a close. Is there any further comments or discussion from the board or from our public? All right, seeing there is none, it looks like this is saying our time is 8:24 and we are dismissed. Meeting adjourned.